People think depression is sadness, tears, silence, maybe a person curled up in bed. But that's just the surface. The real darkness is quieter and much more dangerous. It doesn't shout that it's there. It hides behind a smile, behind jokes. Behind a perfectly normal, I'm fine, depression is a master of disguise. It can laugh loudly in a crowded room and still whisper, you don't belong here. It can make someone appear strong, hardworking, even successful, while inside they're slowly fading away. Because depression isn't always the person who cries. Sometimes it's the one who never does. It's the voice that says, keep going, no one needs to know, until one day you're too tired to hide. The dark side of depression is how invisible it can be. How it convinces you that you're okay because you're functioning. You wake up, you work, you eat, you talk, but everything feels hollow. Like you're living on autopilot, watching your life from outside your body. Depression doesn't always scream in pain. Sometimes it's numbness, a kind of emptiness that swallows you whole. You don't feel joy, but you also don't feel sadness, just nothing. You start to forget what happiness ever felt like. You stop reacting to good news. You lose interest in the things that once gave you life. Friends start noticing you're quieter, distant. You say you're just tired, but tired becomes your entire identity. You lie awake at night, not thinking of anything specific, just a heavy kind of exhaustion that feels endless. And when morning comes, you wear your mask again. You smile, you answer messages, you pretend. Because pretending feels easier than explaining something even you don't understand. That's the cruelest part. Depression convinces you that no one will understand. So you isolate yourself. You turn down invitations. You stop answering calls. And slowly you disappear. Not because you want to, but because you can't find the energy to exist in the world anymore. And while you're alone, depression starts to whisper. It tells you you're lazy when you're actually exhausted. It says you're ungrateful when you're just trying to survive. It tells you you're unlovable when all you really are is hurt. It lies to you over and over until its voice sounds like your own. And that's when it becomes dangerous. Because when you start believing that voice, it starts rewriting your reality. Suddenly, you think your absence wouldn't matter. That maybe people would be better off without you. That maybe peace can only be found in silence. These thoughts don't appear all at once. They grow slowly, quietly, in the cracks of your soul. Depression doesn't destroy you in one blow. It wears you down, piece by piece, until you stop fighting back. And yet, here's what most people don't see. Depression isn't just sadness. It's also survival. Every single day that you wake up and live through that fog, that's strength. The dark side of depression isn't just how painful it is. It's how strong you have to be to carry it without breaking. People think strength is about smiling through the pain, but sometimes strength is getting out of bed. It's brushing your teeth. It's answering one message. It's breathing, even when your chest feels heavy. You start to realize that recovery doesn't come in big cinematic moments. It comes in tiny choices. The decision to stay, the choice to eat, the effort to speak, even when you don't want to. But recovery has its own dark side too, because light doesn't always feel warm when it first returns. It burns. It blinds. It forces you to feel everything you've been avoiding. Suddenly the numbness fades and emotions flood back. Guilt, fear, sadness, anger. It's overwhelming. Healing doesn't always look peaceful. Sometimes it's chaos, because the mind that once learned how to survive in darkness must now learn how to exist in the light again. And that's terrifying. The truth is, people don't talk enough about how hard it is to heal, about how some days you'll slip back, about how some mornings you'll feel like you're drowning again. But you're not starting over. You're just learning how to breathe differently. Depression changes you. It breaks the version of you that once believed life was simple. But maybe that's not entirely a bad thing. Because when you've seen darkness that deep, you begin to notice light in the smallest places. In a song, in a quiet morning, in someone's kindness. You start to see the value in little things that others overlook. You become softer, more empathetic, more real. The dark side of depression doesn't just destroy, it transforms. It forces you to rebuild, and sometimes you come back stronger, more aware of who you are and what really matters. If you've ever been there, in that heavy silence where nothing makes sense, know this: you're not weak, you're not broken. You're fighting a battle most people can't see, and the fact that you're still here means you're winning. Maybe not every day, but enough days. You don't owe the world your constant happiness. You just owe yourself the chance to try again tomorrow. Because one day, that effort won't feel so heavy. One day you'll laugh again and mean it. You'll feel again, not the kind that hurts, but the kind that reminds you you're alive. So yes, depression has a dark side, one that isolates, manipulates, and lies. But there's another side too, the one that survives, the one that keeps breathing, even when it hurts. the one that's listening to this right now. And maybe that's the most powerful part of all. Because you're still here, still fighting, still hoping. And that means you've already beaten the darkness more times than you think. You faced the darkness. Now, learn to understand it. Subscribe for more truths most people are afraid to say out loud.